Okay, this is going to be a trying to be a quick video, but I'm going to try and talk as quickly as possible to try and get in as much information as possible within this video. I'm going to quickly start with ES and NQ. This is just going to be like I guess my brief weekly updates, I guess. Kind of what I'm anticipating for this week and potential trades. I do think especially with what I've been working on lately, I think we're going to be having more trades. I've been deep diving more into the lower time frames and think I've solved a large issue in my trading, which has historically been entries. I've historically been more confident in the higher time frames. Now I think that's led to worse entries. However, I've been doing a lot of work using the 15 and 30 minute for their respective either cumulative or distributive ranges and using those as entries on the higher time frames. And it has been fantastic. And I'm excited to implement that. Okay. With that being said, I'm going to cover the quick um, names in this video. So first, Pepsi. Totally agree with you. Totally agree. Pep is a great name for a reversal here. Just alone, I really like to see these EMAs. A lot of, I guess, quote unquote air between them. You know, the 20 EMA. These are weekly, so 10 and 20. 20 is, I mean, trading at like 143, 10's trading at like 137, and we closed all the way at like 129 on the weekly. So definitely some room for a bounce within here. On the lower time frame, I think we're kind of I'd say we're probably in phase A. So phase A of our range is likely going to be the climax. So I think this is our climax candle, and then I think this is the automatic response. So think that rubber band reaction in the market all the way back up to 132. And then what finishes phase A is that secondary test. So the development of a range. Now, if this failed within here, we would likely just have continued downside where we just keep making lower lows, or lower lows, lower highs, and keep on trading down. But I do really like this bottom wick, kind of coming right to that selling climax at 127.88 and bouncing right off it. So Pepsi is definitely going to be on the docket now. Phase A. Proportionally, we would like phase A to be about half of the size as phase B. Phase B is the kind of lull action where it kind of lulls traders to sleep and it kind of consolidates doing whatever it needs to do, whether it's a distributive range or an accumulative range. So phase A was about 9 days, so I would anticipate phase B being about 18. Now phase B can be shorter than shorter or not double the length. It could be like 1.5 times the length, so 1.5 would be I don't know about 18 like what not 13 and a half, 13 and a half, so 13 and a half days will be right around June 6th. So um do really like this name. I just don't think Pepsi is ready quite yet, but I will be watching this on the shorter time frames for whatever respective ranges this does develop. But yeah, this thing looks awesome for even a reversal up. Ideally it'd be targeting this 142.50 where we had bounce, fail it here. I would totally imagine this. Oh, and even on the weekly, you can see this shortening of thrust right here. That's really good to see. Um, really good to see. That's kind of like that Nike trade earlier in the year that we took. But anyways, really like that, showing these sellers are losing strength as price continues to make shorter lows than before. So that's Pepsi talk. Let's go over to I think the main focus this week is actually going to be Tesla. I don't know if you watched or read Jared's newsletter, but he was looking for Tesla bullish. I don't necessarily agree for a few reasons. I really like Tesla for a short here. Number one reason is going to be if I delete these quick. If we just look at this downside move and then the basing, and then we have this upside move. I really don't like the volume on the upside move. Obviously, you have sellers getting, well, not even sellers, likely the appearance of buyers down here where you're seeing this spike in volume. But if you correlate, besides this large candle on April 9th, you just have a very weak buying volume back into previous areas of especially seller interest now. I don't think we're going to get past this 340 zone. I think we're going to stall out, and I think we're likely going to fail back down, and that's kind of what I'm anticipating. If we saw some crazy volume on this push up, I think that would be a lot more indicative of future long success, at least swinging on Tesla. Don't really like it for we're kind of seeing the opposite. So This is the 30-minute. I've been doing a lot of work with 30-minute and 15 with their respective ranges, but just characteristically, whenever we see an accumulation range or maybe a reaccumulation range in Tesla's instance, where we have, bullish right there, not bullish run up, and then you have another bullish pop that a lot of people are probably anticipating, another leg up. If we were to see reaccumulation, you'd like to see volume consistently getting lower and volatility contracting within the range. So an example of that would be um, I do like ENVX this week for a long. So I like it for a long because you see this high volume spike that brought it into this range, and you see volume contracting and volatility contracting. It's kind of the opposite of what you see on Tesla. You see very high volume spikes throughout the range. And specifically on Tesla, I'm looking for some kind of false breakout above 350. Why above 350? Well, that's a big area for the weekly. I even have Tesla pre-planned in my trade right here. I've already gone through it, but if you can look at this volume profile, it's hard to see, but there's a dotted line right here. It's very difficult to see. I have a solid black line next to it, but above here is a very low volume node. So one side, whether buyers and sellers are not comfortable trading over here. So we would likely see either an actual break to the upside above 350, or we would likely see some kind of false breakout. I'm more leaning towards the false breakout just because we have that gap on the weekly and we're coming into areas of previous support, which will turn to new resistance now that we are testing it for the first time. So that's kind of why I like Tesla for a distributive short trade. I just don't think it's ready yet. I'm really looking for that false breakout, especially above 354 on the weekly, where we have that low volume node, where we'll be sucking in buyers, up here in this range before eventually re-entering the range. So I think like some kind of action like this where we then come back down. We could enter in a few spots here. Um, if we close above this line right here, we could certainly use this area as a short entry, or we could certainly use this area as a short entry right here. So I do like Tesla to the downside. I think that's probably going to be my main focus this week. Really, I think this range is fairly close to being done. I talked about phase A earlier, but likely here's your climax event, here's our secondary test, and then here's our automatic response. So we had that climax, automatic response, secondary test, there's your phase A. So just proportionally, phase A was about, I have no idea what that tool was. That was cool. I've never seen that. I don't even know if I grabbed the right tool. A day and 22 hours, and then we've had phase B, be 7 days. So that's, what, 4 or 5 times, 4x, 5x the phase B. So I think this is getting very close. Um, I'm just looking for that false breakout. Whether we get it, we could even get it Monday. Futures are, excuse me, Monday's today. Tuesday, futures are gapping up hard. Um, Speaking of which, maybe I'll talk about futures right now. I think this is likely creating its redistributive range. It's just very, very early stage. I think this is likely our buying climax. This was likely our automatic response, and then we will likely be looking for our secondary test within here, where we'll likely fail 59.93. I don't know, it's kind of an arbitrary number. And it could even close above 59.93 and then re-enter the range. But I think we are very early stage phase A redistribution occurring on ES. So with that being said, I don't think there's going to be, a real decisive move on ES anytime here within the next, I don't know, probably week or so. But anyway, I do like Tesla to the downside. So I think Tesla's respective range is almost complete. So, excuse me, I have a tickle in my throat. I don't know what it is. It's like sawdust, but I haven't been. Excuse me, I need a water. Jeez, a lot of talking. Anyway, I'm gonna cut this video quick and then start the new one. Okay, that's Tesla and Pepsi. I'm gonna quickly go through the other ones. It's really not too much. We had a breakdown on JD from 33-ish, but now price is retesting that 33, so I'm looking long. I do like this accumulative range coming up, but I don't think it's anywhere near ready, so I'm not going to talk too much about it. Waste management, really hate it on the weekly. I think this is going to find some kind of false breakout above 235. Just hasn't really created that yet. So, kind of just stalking this name. I think it's going to do something like TJX, where TJX was kind of had that gap squeeze above a previous high. and now we're back below the range. So I'm predicting the same thing on waste management, just not ready yet. MDLZ, so Mondelez, same thing. Like it for distribution, like it up here. Don't care where it's at. eBay, I actually think it's very close to being ready. eBay might be one of the ones we're really watching. Well, actually, not even. Probably not. Probably not eBay this week. Um, why not eBay this week? Well, I do think it's. I think this is probably the upthrust after distribution. I think this is probably what kicks the can here before this actually breaks down. But just not ready yet. Like, look at weekly structure. I mean, weekly structure. We've had 3, 6, 8 green weeks in a row essentially. It needs to do some sort of like it needs to do some sort of bearish structure to where that's a short I would take, just not ready yet. Structurally, not ready yet, not ready yet on the lower time frame at all either. So CRSP, let's see, where same thing, just not ready yet. Like this for a distributive trade, like this for the short side. Looks very ready on the weekly. This probably would be a trade I would take on the weekly if I didn't know, but I'm just looking for that false breakout to the upside. Just haven't had it yet. ENVX, shockingly, I actually really like long on ENVX right now. ENVX used, I don't know, 733 as support back here. Closed below, back here, and then is finally starting to it actually reclaimed that 733 level and is now using it as support. So it's just a massive SR flip on the weekly where I'm anticipating this to be new support. I'm anticipating this to actually hold price, so that's why I'm looking long. When I also look long, I can see that price is clearly showing a reaccumulation range just based on the volume characteristics alone. So I'm looking for longs on ENVX. That could potentially be, a trade off of the 771 reclaiming this level, or it could be a trade, retesting 817. But I think ENVX could be a really nice trade here long. So that's ENVX. That one's actually probably pretty close. So that's the trades for the week. I guess Tesla's probably my main. Pepsi we need to develop. ENVX and CRSP are likely the two most ready out of the rest of my list. But yeah, have a great week, and we got to set up that call here sometime soon.